stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good afternoon. I'm only doing one more share here. It's not even going in the Trudging Together family. It's just staying in my stuff. Just the stuff that I do. Because I might get a little whiny. I don't want to hear that. So pretty much my friends were invited, and people may show up, people may not. I will do my best not to whine, because nobody wants to hear that. Now, just because things are a little bit tougher doesn't mean that it's necessarily a bad day. Right? It is tougher today. I'm having a harder time. And it's okay. Doesn't feel okay. Doesn't feel okay at all. Feels like the other shoe's gonna drop. That's how it feels. And and I'm trying to talk about it some more. I don't know that talking is necessarily helping. I'm gonna have to get out of myself one way or another. And my wife tried. She's like, well, why don't you go for a walk? And I don't trust this neighborhood. I have fear of dogs, and I'm in a mood where if your dog came up and even sniffed me, I'd probably kick you in your nuts. She went to the store to get me some fish oil. She's like, I know your answer. You want to go with me? Said, just so you can get out of the house? I'm like, no. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to cause any problems. But I hear what she's saying. I'm catching what she's saying now that I'm saying it out loud. She's saying maybe if you got out of the house, it would help. And she's probably right. She's probably right, because my wife knows me better than anybody else. I'm doing this about 15. Well, I've been talking the whole time, but nobody's really here yet. Sorry, that's just me talking out loud about how I have to do things in order. Okay, so ignore. If you're here, please say hello, whether watching the live or the rewatch. It is so hard to explain. And that's the tough part. That's kind of the tough part, because I don't think people really understand. That's what, and I know that's not totally true, because I know that. Okay. But the hard part is I don't understand. So how could you understand? How could I help you understand what it is that me and a lot of other people go through? By nature, I'm a very introverted person. I'm very introverted, but I am very extroverted, and it's weird. It's all situational. It's all situational for me. See, it's just that sometimes I know, like right now, I know I'm in a reactive mood. I know that. Heck, there was somebody and this, I'm going to give you an example. Hi, Amber. Hi, Amber. I love you. I just want to tell you that. I love you. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. So, right. So somebody said, somebody was in a meeting and there were bottles behind them, but they weren't theirs. And somebody said, hey, do you think maybe you should take those down? And I said, we are responsible for our own triggers. No, do not move them. And then I thought about it for a little bit. What about the newcomers? See, it was reactive. So I had to retract what I said, and my amends was this. Then I think of the newcomer. Yeah, probably a good move. See, I don't need to do more than that. They're like, okay, Dion caught it. We can move on. And that's what I enjoy about my friends. Um, I may talk about some things here. Please refrain from giving me advice. If you want to share your experience, please do that, but please don't give me any advice. I am not in an advice mood, or I'd be calling my sponsor. Right? I'm getting better at it. We're progress. Yes, I know that. That's the answer. I know. I know. See, here's the thing. I know this through and through. You can start reading, and I'll read along with you. I mean, I have the whole thing memorized. Okay. I learn something new all the time. Every time I open this fucking book, I learn something new. Right. On the other hand, I know my DSM-5 is casual reading for me. My pastor asked me this morning if I'd had any training. All right. This is what she asked me. She said, Dion, I know this is all going all over the place, but that's why my friends love me, because they know that I'm going to be all over the place and they still understand. But she said, Dion, did you, it's really funny that you say that, Chris. And hi, Chris. Hi, Chris. Good to see you. I was brought up Mormon. And she asked me, she said, while you were, and she knows that because she does a lot of work in Utah. And I've talked to her about my Mormonism and things like that. And before I get to that, let's go ahead and throw a little bit of a humor in. Advice of the day: take something before your headache turns into a migraine. No shit. And you know what people always say? Did you drink enough water? Fuck off. Right. But she said, Dion, did you have a lot of church training? And I told her no. And I was honest with her. I said, no. And when I went to church or school, I never really listened. I spent most of my time daydreaming how I was going to kill everybody. That turned into a different conversation. It was a compliment. Okay. She knows her Bible. And she tells me, Dion, I enjoy talking to you because it's like you read the Bible over and over and over again. No. I read the first quarter of it. I got bored. This is where I got it. This is where I got it. This is the Bible for dummies, my friends. Am I a dummy? No. We just say that so we feel better. I'm not a dummy. You're not a dummy. We're actually very smart people. Right? Right. Now, the good thing about Mormonism is they made some changes, and good for them, but I still wouldn't buy it, Chris. But, Chris, you know enough about spirituality where that could turn into a good conversation for you, man. Yeah. That could turn into a good conversation. You know your stuff, man. Right. I will tell you, I'm feeling a little bit better since I have my ways. If I told you what I did, you'd probably think I was you wouldn't agree. But I don't need your advice on that. So let me put it this way. If I went to a doctor, they would prescribe me an opiate. And that ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. No. So what I have is I have all this AA stuff, and then I have this DSM. Old DSM. This new DSM is bullshit. It's bullshit. One of the things that's driving me crazy right now, okay, and it's an outside issue in a way, right? And it's just it's driving me crazy that we watch the government continually fuck Americans over, but people seem to think it's okay to go to their recovery programs. Do you actually trust the government when it comes to recovery? Because I don't. I do not at all. And I meet with them. And I even tell them, I don't trust you. You're doing it wrong. That is the conversation I will be having with a purpose. Oh, watching Mormons. Well, then it's okay. Well, so the TV's trying to convert you to Mormonism. Yeah, that wouldn't be a very good conversation, Chris. That wouldn't be a very good conversation. Um, you know, a lot of people weren't here in the beginning. Right now, I feel like the shoe's going to drop. It's how it feels. And it's because there are certain things going on. It's all new. It's all new to me. I don't know how I don't know how else to put this. So please, I beg you, I implore you, do not take this egotistically. I now have like all the power in Adams County when it comes to the recovery stuff. I am now the person. I've been asking people for years to help me do this, and it's not like people haven't. They contribute what they can. But it turns out that I seem to be the person speaking. Well, I don't want to fuck it up. I don't want to fuck it up, man. I am feeling this weight, and it creates loneliness for me, right? There are some things that I have to call Pastor Marcia about because I don't get it. And she's a pastor, she understands that, and it's not power in the sense that it's power. That's not what it is. In fact, I would probably call it influence more than power because it's not actual power. It isn't. It's the power of God. And it fucks with me. It fucks with earlier I was hurting from head to toe, man. And it's an ache. It's a pulse. I can feel my whole body heart beating. Good junk. Good junk. Good junk. I'm gonna give you another example. It's kind of what I was talking to my wife about, because I always go to my wife first because she's my mirror and she listens and I know how to talk to her. It took a while. Usually I just go in, and I don't yell anymore because I don't want to take it out on her. I don't, you know. Something else that really threw me off, and even though it's good, it's throwing me off. My nightmare was in reverse last night. It was weird. So usually my nightmares are I'm in jail or I'm stuck somewhere or I'm homeless trying to find a place and everybody hates me. Everybody. For a reason that I don't even know that I'm aware of. Okay? Why did it do that? Because that's what was going on in real life. People were doing things and I don't know what they're saying. Last night I had the same dream, the same people, except my wife was in it. She's never in my nightmares. She was actually my roommate in my jail cell. Yes, that's how it goes for me. Okay, it's not really jail. It's just it's the nightmares are my freedom being taken away. But last night my nightmare was in reverse. Everybody was listening to me. Everybody was happy that it was about Dion. Somebody offered me a drink and I turned it down. I have drinking dreams every fucking night, but they ended. And I'm confused. See, when I get relieved like that, I am used to waking up fucked up. And when I don't know what to do. Right? Right now it's 2:00. I have a meeting at 5, right? That's 3 hours of torture. It's 3 hours of torture. When I'm alone, no. So maybe the answer is I need to bring more people into my life. Maybe I need to go get an office instead of staying at home. Maybe I need to go get a part-time job. I feel like I have an overdose of recovery. But like I was telling my wife, the only time I feel better is when I'm around you guys. When I'm doing not even that. if I am helping someone else, I don't feel it. But left to my own devices, I go fucking nuts, man. Not always. Not all. I'm getting better at it, but you know, excitement fucks me up. I don't like my heart going. Most of the days felt like I had like 5 energy drinks. I don't like that feeling. If you ever have a heart attack, your heart starts going faster. It's scary. Yesterday I thought I was going to have to take my emergency med. Yeah, it's for emergencies only. I cannot use that on a regular basis. What's it called? Let's go. I'm gonna go grab it. All right. My wife and I know where this is all the time. This right here. What is it called? Oh, nitroglycerin. Yeah. Yeah. If I have chest pain, I am due. And then you call. It says dissolve 1 tablet under the tongue as needed for chest pain. If no relief, call 911. Okay. No refills. And they won't refill it because they want their money. So a lot of it for me, and Chris, you'll probably understand a lot of this, is, I have this professional side. Okay. And then I have this AA side, and they are different. They're different animals. The way of doing a clinical thing and the way of doing it AA it's different. And if I'm talking to somebody that's more clinical and they don't know the difference between a client note and a DAP note, I've lost trust. If the only answer you have is clinical, my mind tells me you ain't going to meetings. If you have clients and not sponsees, I don't believe you. I don't trust you because you're not doing it the way that it's supposed to be done. Okay. The only thing that really changes in AA is the approach. The rest of it's the same. It's the approach. It says it right in the 12 by right in the big book. It is how and when to help. And you cannot transmit something you do not have. Okay? Be careful what you say in AA meetings. I heard somebody say that the Washingtonians were just as big as AA. Not even close. I knew it was wrong the moment he said it. AA has 2 million members. The Washingtonians barely passed 300,000. Not even close. Right? The topic was outside issues, which I thought was a great topic. It's a tradition topic. I will tradition talk all day long. And I think he brought it up because he wanted to, I forgot what he was called, but it would be supporting things outside of AA with donations made to the group, and that's not allowed. And I think that's why I brought it up. But what concerned me was this: he has 31 years of sobriety. That's what scares me. And he did not know that. Or did he? Is he just trying to trick the group because he thinks that they don't know any better? You ain't going to get past me. Nope, you will not. And then he begged to be on my podcast, which I find even more weird. There's just, it's something doesn't sit right with me. So something's wrong. Now, is he bad? Is he? No. In fact, he had a great topic today. Hey, so yeah, it's tough. When I get excited, this is what happened. And I'm okay. When I get excited, since I don't know how to handle it, I make more demands. It's emotional sobriety for me. Okay. I hate excitement. I'd rather be depressed because I can get out of it. I'm very skilled, right? I think the other thing is I'm scared. I am. I know I have a lot of faith. I know I have a lot of strength, but I'm scared, man. I'm scared. What's going to happen if I fuck it up? There's a lot of people relying on me, and oh, I want it. I want it. But I don't have a choice. This is what God asked me to do, man. I'm not going to argue with him because the consequences of inaction are so severe. I am not willing. I'm not willing. Mm-mm. Not with that. There are some things I am unwilling to do, like take a drink. Yeah. I mean, do we set aside um, the lives of humans and let them to continue suffer so we can all get together and have a good time? Is that what we're doing now? Because it's killing me. It is. I can feel it, man. All the people suffering. I can feel it. My camera keeps going out, so I keep. It probably doesn't affect you, but for some reason, when it's blurry, it just bothers me. So, um, yeah. So, yeah, and I just put something out, and I wasn't talking about everybody else. I was talking about me. Um, and I said, let me go grab it just so I can. I always have to go look, even stuff that I write, because a lot of times God just says, "Hey, here you go." Things are changing, and it will be scary since you have not experienced it yet. But keep faith and trust in God, and you will come out the other side unscathed. Now, I truly believe that for you. But do I believe it for me? Not entirely. No, no, I don't. Am I still going to do it? Yeah, I am. So I'm meeting with the executive director, and this still goes along with it. Okay. This person doesn't know me from Adam. I made a phone call. Right. And I listen to these things and I know. And her assistant told me she flat out said she wants to buy you coffee. You know what that means? It means she doesn't want to do Zoom, not a phone call. She wants to sit in front of me. Best plan ever. Then she took it a step forward and put it in public. You know what she was doing? She was thinking of me. So I'm going to do everything in my power to make her life easier. Yes. Yes, I will. Is she an alcoholic? No, she's not. Does she work for the government? Yes, she does. Well, I tell her I do not take government grants, but I will work with you with some of your systems. Yes, I will. Will I be asking her for help? Oh, yeah. See, I just got the newsletter. They got land. I'm going to get it. I'm going to make them give it to me. So she thinks we're going to be talking about the detox. And I need to rewrite and let her know, hey, or I need to let her assistant know, hey, the detox is clearing up. So we're only going to be talking about 10 minutes of detox. What I really want to talk to her about is what happens after detox. That's what I want to talk about. That there's nothing after detox. That if we do this and we get a success rate, we go back to a success rate, and you get more than half of your people sober, because that's what'll happen. 50% of us make it. 50%. Okay. Let's say a person has 3 months, they slip, come back right away. Still counts to a success rate. They came back. See, the clinical side understands that a relapse is part of recovery. It can be, if you learn from it. If you learn from it. Sometimes we don't know what a trigger is. And you will drink because there was something beyond your control. You can't help it. You don't have a choice. I understand that. When people say slips, relapse are not a part of recovery, I'm sorry, but I don't agree. I don't agree because I understand the clinical and so this is the hard part. Okay, I will go out. Hi, Ingrid. Good to see you. Yay, another friend. All my friends are showing up. And I missed you for that month, Ingrid, because there's something about my friends coming on that always fucking helps. It always does. Now, you're not really doing anything but being available. And it's all we need. And it's the coolest fucking thing in the world that we can be so connected. That we can be so connected. Okay? There will come a time in your sobriety, a thought will come into your mind. Okay? And it'll say, call this person. Call them. Call them. They're hurting. If a thought appears in your head that you're supposed to call somebody, that's God talking to you. Directly to you. He needs you. Hey, you know what? You know me. You know me. Hey, life got lifey. I was cut off for a month, man. That wasn't on you. You still would have been here. So actually, it wasn't you. I'm the one that got cut off. But see what happens? It affected a lot of people because somebody wanted to be a jerk. Should I do nothing about that? No. I'm doing something about it. You bet your ass I am. Hey, this is the hard. This is I kind of want to talk about this a little bit, and this is for me and my experience, and it's partially opinion. If somebody does something to me and it is wrong and I do not report it, inaction is the worst consequence ever. I have got to report. Okay. But when it comes to you, it will be harder. When it comes to you, it will be harder. I was just talking to my pastor about this morning. Something happened. I'm like, you need to say something. You need to do something. Or they're going to continue that behavior and do it to somebody else, and you will pay the price for it. Just like when something happened to my wife, and that's what you told her. It's like, fuck, Dion. And that's when it came up, she wondered if I read the Bible and knew the Bible more. No. God has never told me that I need to. He just hasn't. And it's not required. Why do that when I could just, hang out with Chris and watch the Mormons? Now that's good TV. Mormons. Those crazy, crazy Mormons. I got one more and then I'll go ahead and wrap up because it's 2:22. By the way, it's 2:22. I gotta bring this up. So Amber had said something about the 4th, and I'm like, yeah, but it's the 3rd. And she says it's screenshot. It's 111. Just happens to be 111 too. Amber and I we like our numbers. I mean, do you know what 222 meant? It meant I was on target. That's God giving me a sign in my brain. Right. So the hardest part for me, the hardest part. Oh, and she posted that because she was right. It was not the 3rd. It was the 4th. But You know, I think it's great that we can be wrong in the program. We confront each other, but we kind of do it in a humor way, like, oh, I was wrong. And we all move on. It's what a fucking relief. Because the rest of the world don't work like that, man. You know, I'm finding the friends that I have in my life do, though. That took a while, you know, including my sponsor, man. Daryl's been a great asset for me. I have made a lot more improvements since I decided, you know, since God gave me a good sponsor. 7 years. Actually, it took me 5 years to find a sponsor. I gave up at one point. Okay, I'm avoiding the hard part. I know I can be wrong, but I'm usually right. Now let me explain that. I have a lot of experience. I'll give you a great example. And abuse. And abuse was big in the 80s and 90s, and what happened, you're probably all familiar with it. I know Chris is. But just in case, because we might be naive, what would happen is if you were on it and you drank, you would get violently ill. But what really happened was one of two things, and it depended on the person. They either really got no effects from drinking or it killed them. So why are we trying it again? In the 12 by 12, it talks about how they created all these sober livings and got into all these different things and it failed. Huh. 12 by 12, it says anytime I mix God and money, it doesn't seem to work for us as AA. Okay. I've seen a lot of things. I'll give a good example of this, and it's all on presentation. Okay. I was talking to an admission coordinator yesterday. I'm going to kind of cover that conversation because it was interesting. She has 2.5 years. Now I can't say her name or where she was from, and I'm not going to because it doesn't matter. Right. So I'm going to give her the name Melissa. So Melissa and I were talking, and I kind of told her what we were doing, and I was looking for 12-step treatment. And I said, hey, do you have 12-step treatment? And she said, no, we don't do 12-step. What we have is CB. We do what's called cognitive behavioral therapy. That's AA. That's the 12 steps. So I told her, and you got to do this right. So I learned, I said, you know what? You answered my question. The fact that you do CBT, AA, and NA is just CBT with God. That's what it is. And she's like, yeah, it is, isn't it? See, now we're moving along. Okay. Because I was asking about admission things, right? But that's not what I'm doing. What I was doing was breaking down any defenses I was going to have to overcome for when I need to put somebody there. All right. At one point in the conversation, before I get to, and it's towards the end, she said, Dion, maybe you ought to talk to one of the higher ups. And I said, Melissa, I don't know I don't think that's necessary because first of all, you answered all my questions. And number two, I'm going to be talking to you more than I'm going to be talking to any of them. So I need to build a relationship with you. And then at some point, if things are moving along and you think it's appropriate to bring it to them, then we'll do that. So you just let me know. What did I do? I gave her all the power so that she would be on my side. It's just a sales technique. Okay. Now, here's the interesting part. Okay. Because I tend to say things a little rougher. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Okay. Now it's going to sound rough, but you can shove his fucking head in there and make him wish he did. Okay. Who am I saying that for? See, she said, you can lead a horse to water. This is how I work. You can lead a horse to water because we were talking about willingness, but you can't make him drink. Okay, so let me explain that. It also means we meet others where we're at. It's the same thing. It just sounds meaner. It's not meaner. It actually comes with a shit ton of unconditional love. See, and so she went off on me for like 2 minutes, and I let her. She got her opinion. I said it. I knew I was going to get a reaction. I knew it. But what I wanted to do was have a debate that we could agree on. And that was it. She handed it to me. Okay? So then we have this debate, and we're both talking the same thing. I said, now you got to realize that that doesn't mean you do it without love. And what you were saying is absolutely correct. Yes, we meet them where they're at. If they're not willing, we move on. And especially in your position as an admission, yes, you must have that strong boundary. So we brought her around. What do we have? We had a hard conversation and made it normal. Now, if I need a bed, she's on my side. Then I call another place, right? Different conversation because I kind of know these people. And I tell them, here's my point, and this is what I'm doing. I am calling every single treatment center in Colorado that is 12 step based and takes Medicaid. Every single one. It's not going to be a bunch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make them all work together. Because I don't need to make 50 fucking phone calls to find a bed. One phone call or one email immediately. I told her what I'm doing is I'm collecting all of you, and then we'll create something so we know who has beds. So if you get a call, I can't say her name either. Well, yeah, I can because Lauren, she's over at Mile High Recovery. Great, she's awesome. She's awesome. I like Mile High Recovery. Bryce Hancock runs Mile High Recovery, and he's a cool motherfucker. All right, he did. Now I'm going to tell you, he went a wrong way for a little bit, but he corrected it. He corrected it. He said, hey, you know what? I made a mistake. We ain't doing that again. Great. That's awesome. Yeah, really good guy. Really good guy. He's done a lot of great things. And I kind of hope they become the next Arapaho House. But see, if we put all these things together to where people, I'm like, so Lauren, somebody calls you, hey, do you have a bed? No, but Peaks does. Give them a call right now. Call them right now. They have a bed available. She's like, oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, it is. It's a very good idea. It's how we used to do it. Right? Now, that conversation was a little bit different because I know them. And she said, we're planning on growing. And I said, great. Let me help you open a treatment center. She's like, oh, I'm going to have Jill call you on Monday. So Jill's going to call me Monday. We'll see what happens. Probably be years out. Right? Right? So see how I'm dealing with a clinical and a very non-clinical, and it gets very confusing for me sometimes. And so I'm feeling much better now because I got to get all this off my chest. Hey, Daryl, you weren't here, but I was bragging about you earlier. Were your ears burning? I was just talking about how I feel like I've been a lot more accountable since I've had you, being my sponsor. But yeah, that's the hardest part for me is understanding that. That's why I put that post out the other day, that I know that I can be rough. So I'm trying to change my verbiage a little bit so that people feel more included. And I can do that, even though I think you kind of need to, get a little bit thicker skin. But there again, what AA is about conforming to society's needs. And therefore, Dion needs to do that too. And that can be tough for me. I'm 54, a little stuck in my ways. So maybe I need to stop running around saying, you're going to lead a horse to water and then shove his head in there, So instead, I'll just say it like everybody wants to hear. We meet others where they're at. That everybody's, the other thing that irritates me is this, or that it doesn't. I say AA and people, and immediately, it's not the only way. If you do that, I just, I don't want to be around you. All right? I don't, because you're not open minded. And they're like, you're not open minded because you go to AA. And that's an assumption. It's contempt prior to investigation. Yeah. See, I got a couple of friends. We don't agree on a lot of things, but we always get to the right answer. For what's right for that person. It's not what's about right for them or me. It's what's right for whoever we're talking about. You know? So what is that? Take what you can and leave the rest, right? So, all right. Well, my wife's back with my fish oil, so I'm going to go take that. Yeah, just real quick. I'm going to kind of review what was going on with my meds. So you guys have probably noticed that I'm like got all this extra energy, right? I slept 6 hours last night. I'm fine. What happened to the 10 hours that I was? So it was the torvastatin. It was the statin. The number one side effect is lethargy. This has been going on 10 years. How long have I been taking those meds? 12 years. There we are. I've talked to some other people about this because God was not filling that script. I tried. You know, I was going to go to the emergency room and try that way. But my wife informed me, they're like, no, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. So I went and looked for alternatives. Then I had some conversations with some other people, and they're like, yeah, my doctor said they don't hand out statin anymore. It's not really that it has all these side effects. You should be taking fish oil. I'm like, what the hell? So all these, so that's what's been going on. But now I have all this energy, right? I don't know what to do with it, and it's driving me a little crazy, right? And it doesn't help that everything's going great. You know, a little drama in my life. No, I'm kidding. God, that was not a request. That was not a request. What is it? I haven't been here before. I don't, you know, but it's all going good. But you guys know how it feels that sometimes things are going good and then you feel like the other shoe's going to drop on you. So, all right. I'm feeling much better. You took or you do? Let me know how much you take, and so because I want to start getting better. I do with other things. I'm not saying I'm not. Yeah. Okay. All right. I know. Or yeah, with Daryl, I started this with, please don't give me advice, but I'm asking for advice on how much you take. I think I'm going to ask a couple people. So I'm also going to put myself on a daily vitamin. I'm going to take a look at some of these more medicinal ways to go rather than the Western, you know. So, yeah, send it to me. I may not reply. I'm going to a 3 o'clock meeting, and then we have the 5 o'clock meeting, and so, yeah, man, I want to talk about that a little bit. The 3 o'clock has been. I go because I feel like it needs support, but it's just become kind of lackluster for me. And I don't want to go and have a bad attitude, right? But today my sponsee should be chairing, and I want to support him. So, you know, it's me looking for reasons to go to those meetings. But sometimes there's so much going on with it that I just get recovered out because it's like the only thing going on. My wife gave me some great suggestions on, maybe you need to find something else that you enjoy. And I've been trying to find that for a while, and I don't know what it is. And that's the frustrating part. I actually want to get into pickleball. but I'm afraid because I smoke. I'd love to get back into softball, but I get scared. I get scared. It's a lot of people. So, all right, send me that jungle remedy. Yeah, the newcomers meeting. It's just there's a lot of things that have happened. Um, I was doing a lot of service work there, and then I had to stop, and it went from 7 days a week to 3 days a week, and it just something. It's kind of like the Henderson Community Church. Something just didn't feel right. Pastor Marcia and I talk about that too. I and and this has nothing to do with anything, but I think I personally think that there's an evil entity living there that doesn't want things to happen. But I believe in that stuff. So I really do. So, all right, yeah, I'll send you the link. It's also on DACA. If you ever need it and I'm not around, they're listed on DACA. So and you can just go to the meeting, hit Zoom because there's no password. So also if you have a Zoom account, I don't know that you have to have a Zoom account, but like here, I'll kind of show you. I'm going to kind of show you my Zoom, right? So when I open Zoom, I get the first page right here. This is what I get. Okay. And if I hit join, then what it does, it gives me this drop down box and I can change my name, right? So I just hit the drop down box and it gives me the list of the meetings I've been to. So if that kind of helps out, because I know a lot of people are still kind of learning Zoom. So 3 p.m. how it works. Yeah, might need that, huh? Yeah, 3 p.m. how it works. I'm considering doing a 12-step series podcast. Not 12 steps, 12 traditions. I've done up to page 63. I've done a couple of things, but I feel like it might be a good series, but I don't know. I think it might be kind of fun to have like a special guest on each one, a different guest. That means I might need 12 different guests. Or maybe I can have 4 guests that do 3 of them with me. Or, but it really depends because like tradition 1 will take me about 30 minutes. Tradition 12 will probably take over an hour, well over an hour. It might even be 2 parts. So I'm gonna have to go through that and do whatever they call it, organizer. I don't know. I guess I am a producer, huh? All right. I'm a producer that doesn't know how to edit. All right, we'll see you some of you at 3 p.m. Thanks for hanging out. I really do appreciate it. And we'll see y'all soon. I love